welcome to you. This is Wholehearted. We are on part 9 of the Identity series. Thank you for joining me and coming along for this journey. Today we're going to be speaking on a stabilizer called separation. Now, many of us know, and you've been watching the episodes where I spoke about Samuel's bicycle and those training wheels. Those training wheels are like stabilizers. And we spoke about comfort. We kind of lean on comfort or excuses or comparison. And another stabilizer is separation. Sometimes we lean on that. So separation, for some, it's relational. It could be wrong friends, wrong mindsets, anything that's holding you back. Sometimes we've got to separate from those things. We have to separate from wrong mindsets, wrong friendships. Anything that's holding you back leads to a revelation and a divine connected relationship. You know, what do we need to separate from? My question is this, ladies. What do we need to separate from to discover your true identity in Christ? Maybe, like I said, it's a wrong mindset or a wrong friendship. Separation will break into your world and bring you where God can talk to you and be the real you. When I think about this, we think about a first night of separation where God revealed himself to Jacob in a dream. And we look at this in Genesis 28 verse 16 in the Amplified Classic. It says this: "And Jacob awoke from his sleep and he said, 'Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it.'" You know, God had always been there for Jacob, but he had failed to recognize his presence for himself because Rebecca had been the dominating frequency person in his life that he was actually tuned into. But separation and change go hand in hand. Separation forces you to actually reevaluate your life. Sometimes the separation includes separating, from different things. Like I said, things that don't fit your identity any longer. Separation actually causes new relationships and friendships to form. A separation can be hard because it means leaving behind the things that maybe you've become attached to in your life. Like I said, separation from wrong mindsets, separation from wrong friendships, and sometimes we can become almost attached to those things. So it sometimes can be very hard to separate. And when I think about this, I often think about almost being pregnant. Now, when I was pregnant with Samuel, and at first I could wear my normal clothes, but eventually, my tummy started growing, obviously with Samuel in, and I had to separate from my old jeans. Now I could have been like, no, but I can't separate from them. But I had to eventually separate from those jeans and be okay with that I was growing a life on the inside of me, that I had to be okay with those new maternity jeans. So I couldn't not separate and try and push and kind of get into my old jeans and say they will fit me. Well, who was I kidding? I couldn't do that any longer. I needed to have that maternity pair of jeans. So I had to separate from my old jeans. So what do we need to separate from? Maybe, like I said, wrong thinking, wrong relationships. Sometimes our role can start giving us identity and security, and sometimes we have to strip that away. There's certain things that maybe we were always involved in, or there were certain demands that were placed on us, but we have to remember to be 100% ourselves. So my question today is this, ladies: what do you and I have to separate from? Maybe it's a wrong mindset that we've had concerning ourselves. Maybe it's a wrong friendship. What is it that you have to separate from to truly step into all that God has for you and walk in the identity that Jesus Christ paid for? Until next time, I love you very much. God bless.